Chart pattern method. The Elliott wave is really nothing more than a pattern trading game. People just like to make everything complicated so they seem smarter to themselves. The simple patterns that I showed you in DVD 1, head and shoulders, double tops, triangles and wedge patterns, have many similarities to patterns from the Elliott wave cycle. Now let's see how to combine them to make our wave counts easier. The triangle is a pattern that usually appears in the middle and ending stages of the trend. Important: the triangle needs to have only a 5-wave structure. 3-wave structure triangles are not valid Elliott wave patterns. The triangle is a corrective pattern that can appear only in waves 4, B, or X. Watching triangles can help you to find exactly where you are in the larger Elliott wave cycle. To label your triangle pattern as a corrective wave 4, we need to see a 3-wave before the starting point of the triangle. From these 3 waves, the third leg needs to be at least 1/618 of first leg if you want to call this triangle the wave 4. Only if this is exactly what you can see on your chart can you say that the triangle represents a wave 4 and you can expect a further push in the direction of the larger trend in the wave 5. To label your triangle pattern as a corrective wave B, we need to see 5 waves before the starting point of the triangle. In order to label your triangle pattern as a corrective wave B, we need to validate motive pattern before the triangle start with the 3 simple rules. Only if this is exactly what you see on your chart can you say that the triangle represents a wave B. To label your triangle pattern as corrective wave X, we need to see 3 waves before the starting point of the triangle. From these 3 waves, the first and third leg should be equal if you want to call this triangle wave X. Only if this is exactly what you see on your charts can you say that the triangle represents a wave X. Let's go and see the example. On this chart of the dollar Swiss franc, we can see a triangle pattern developing in the middle. Now we need to see if there is a 5-wave move inside of a triangle first, and we have the triangle pattern already confirmed. So let's see how much waves we can see from the starting point of the triangle till the short-term bottom. And I can see only 3 waves, so this gives us ability to label wave X or wave 4 at the end of the triangle. Now let's check the wave 1 and the wave 3. In this case we can see that the third leg exceeds for sure 1/618 of the wave 1, so we are going to go and call our triangle the wave 4. So looking for 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Head and shoulders. Head and shoulders is a pattern that appears during the ending stages of the trend. This pattern usually matches waves 3, 4, 5, ABC or ABC 1, 2, 3. For head and shoulders to match 3, 4, 5, ABC, we need to see a complete motive pattern from the head high until the short-term low. Only if this is exactly what you see on your chart can you try to fit this idea on your chart. For the head and shoulders to match ABC 1, 2, 3, we need to see head and shoulders in the middle of the trend or during the pullbacks. Something like this. Only if this is exactly what you see on your charts can you try to fit this idea on your chart. Here is an example where we can see the head and shoulders pattern around the ending stages of the trend. So what we need to do right now is to see how to validate this idea. We are going to start to look for the 5-wave move or a 3-wave move from the top, from the head of this head and shoulders pattern till the nearest low that we can see. And I can probably see a 5-wave move over here. I would need to go a little bit further and check if all the rules are there, but this seems like a 5-wave move. And that's the only reason why we can go and label this as a 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and that the head and shoulders right part represent the ABC correction. The double top pattern appear at the ending stages of the trend and usually represent a short-term correction. This pattern usually matches the flat correction. For the double top to match the flat pattern, we need to see the double top at the middle or ending stages of the trend. Only if this is exactly what you see on your chart can you try to fit this idea on your chart. On the chart of the Euro-Yen, we are going to try to match the double top pattern that we see over here to be some sort of a flat correction, but we need to check if we have a 3-wave move and if we have 3-wave move in A, 3-wave move in B, and 5-wave moves in C. And like you can see over here, we have a 3-wave move down. After that, we had that push higher that was a deep pullback also in a 3-wave move shape, followed by some sort of a 5-wave decline lower. So we can go and label this as A, B, and C, and some sort of a flat correction. The wedge pattern appears at the ending stages of the trend and usually represent an ending diagonal pattern. This pattern usually matches wave 5 or wave A. For wedge to match wave 5, we need to see 4 waves before the starting point of wedge pattern. Only if this is exactly what you see on your chart can you try to fit this idea on your chart and call the wedge wave 5. For the wedge to match the wave C, we need to see 2 waves before the starting point of wedge pattern. Only if this is exactly what you see on your chart can you try to fit this idea on your chart and call the ending point of wedge the wave C. Here is the chart of the silver where we have a wedge pattern. So first of all, we don't know anything else. So let's see how much smaller waves we have before the wedge started. And I see a 4 wave. Starting from the low I see on this chart, I can find the 4 waves, and that tells me one thing, that ideally this wedge represents some sort of end of wave 5. That is why we label this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chart patterns won't always match Elliott wave patterns, but around 80% of the time you are going to acquire some useful information that will help you in your quest to more easily identify motive and corrective patterns.